We all have gathered here for one-day seminar on search, survey, and seizure under Income Tax Act and GST. Can I request our Vice Chairman, C.A. Pramodar Hegde, to escort speakers for the day and program coordinator for the day, BP Sachin Kumar sir and Prashant GS onto dais, and then welcome them with floral bouquet. Thank you, sir. I request our Vice Chairman to give a welcome address.
Well, good morning, members, respected speakers. As the Vice Chairman of the Bangalore branch, it gives me an immense pleasure and pride to welcome you to this one-day seminar on search, survey, seizure under the Income Tax Act and the GST Act. Our journey today will lead us into the intricacies and corridors of the Income Tax Act 1961 and the Goods and Service Tax Act, guided by our distinguished speakers. We aim to shed light on the nuances of search, survey, and seizure, imparting invaluable insights and practical knowledge. This seminar is testament to our commitment to a continuous learning and professional development. By the end of the day, we hope to equip you with a new reward and understanding the clarity on these pivotal topics, aiding you in the professional journey. Kicking off our seminar, CABP Sachin Kumar will talk about the provisions related to search and seizure under the Income Tax Act. Post a tea break, CA Prashant GS will take us through the practical aspects of search and survey. Following a lunch session, CA Jatin Christopher will provide us an in-depth look into the inspection, search, and seizure under the Goods and Service Tax. Our day will also be an insightful Q&A session on income tax and GST led by CA Shankar sir and CA Venkatramani. Let's harness this opportunity to deepen our expertise and engage in insightful discussions. Once again, a warm welcome to all. Your presence today is a testament of our collective pursuit of knowledge and excellence. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chairman. I have a privilege in introducing today's speaker for the first session, CABP Sachin Kumar sir. BP Sachin Kumar is a fellow member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and alumnus of Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. He is the Chief Strategic Partner of Messrs. Manohar Chowdhury and Associates, a chartered accountants firm with 26 partners spread across 16 offices in India. He is currently an independent director in Tech Mahindra, Serium Private Limited, a subsidiary of Tech Mahindra Limited situated in Bangalore, and a non-executive director of a London-based multinational company, Infosight Consulting Services Limited. He has a wide range of experience in advising leading Indian corporates and MNCs on various domestic and international tax matters. He has represented large corporates and government undertakings before the Income Tax Department and appellate authorities in India. He is a regular speaker at various prominent forums and is a visiting faculty at the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and in Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore. He is the secretary of Bangalore ITAT Bar Association. With this brief introduction, I present before you BP Sachin Kumar sir. I also have a privilege in introducing today's program coordinator, CA Prashant GS. Mr. Prashant GS is a fellow member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and is practicing in Bangalore. He is a graduate in commerce and has pursued chartered accountancy course and qualified in the year November 2006. He is practicing in the field of direct taxes and is mainly involved in search and survey matters, corporate taxation, transfer pricing, international taxation, and handling litigation and representation matters at various levels. Before setting up his independent practice, he was working with Messrs. Singhi, Dev and Unni, chartered accountants firm in Bangalore. He has presented more than 100 papers on direct taxes in various seminars, conferences, and other professional platforms. He has previously served as co-opted member of Committee on International Taxation constituted by SIRCF ICAI and also as a faculty at the Bangalore branch of SIRCF ICAI. He also has served as a member of Finance Advisory Committee of the Karnataka State Cricket Association. He is also an occasional faculty at Fiscal Policy Institute, Government of Karnataka. Currently, Prashant is member of Regional Direct Taxes Advisory Committee, Karnataka, constituted by CBDT under Ministry of Finance. He is a member of Central Taxes Committee of Federation of Karnataka Chambers of Commerce and Industry. He is a member of Direct Tax Representation Committee of All India Federation of Tax Practitioners. He is a member of Fixation Committee at Adi Chunchanagiri University, Karnataka. He is a life member of Bengaluru ITAD Bar Association. With this brief introduction, I present before you CA Prashant GS, and I request Prashant GS to briefly tell about the program before Sachin Sawant takes over.
Thank you, Secretary. Good evening, all. At the outset, I thank the Bangalore branch for having given this opportunity to coordinate this program on search, seizure, and survey. How was it conceived or why we felt it necessary to have this was, most of you are updated about the current affairs, what's happening, about the various inspections the GST authorities undertaking, or various IT raids that are taking place across the country. So at this juncture, it's important to understand the nuances of the search and survey provisions, both under the direct and indirect tax laws. More so after GST becoming a central law and the central authorities are now monitoring the GST. It becomes imperative after the exchange of information with income tax and GST that we have a combined seminar covering both topics so that most clients will have issues which are involving both GST and income tax. And coming to the format of it, how we have structured it is, my good friend Sachin, correct Manju, now he is the Vice President of the IT Association. He is given probably the old profile. He is the Vice President of the IT Association now. He will take you through the procedural aspects involved in search and survey as to how search will be conducted, what will be the factors that go on to determining search, and what is the data points that are present in how many searches are being conducted, and how probably people should look at search, and the various procedural aspects of it. And on the practical aspects of it, I'll be covering a little later after Sachin speaks about procedural aspects. We'll try to cover the practical aspects of it insofar as the legal issues concerning the search and also the issues that emanate during the search, the rights and duties of the taxpayers and the obligations the taxpayers have towards paying of legitimate taxes. Coming to the GST, we have Jatin Christopher talking on inspection, search and seizure. Why is it important here is that generally under the income tax you will not have inspections, you will have a survey and search. But whereas in GST you will have an inspection, then subsequently a search, and you always have that old saying, it's also widely known, all searches are inspections, but all inspections are not searches. Therefore, he will dwell on those points as to the distinguishing factors between an inspection and a search and what happens. And we are going to end the day probably with the doyens of tax laws. In income tax, we have Shankar sir, one of my mentors, and in the GST, we have Venkat sir, one of my other mentors, who will take you through the various issues that you are facing. For that session, what I request is, any of you have any questions, kindly give it at the front desk so that we will compile the questions from this time till the end of it and probably pass it on to the speaker so that repeated questions can be avoided and the questions can be moderated so that we can make best use of the expert as the speakers. Without taking much time, I leave it to Sachin to take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I request the dignitaries on the dais and managing committee members of Bangalore branch to join us for inauguration of this seminar by lighting the lamp.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता
is we have become now, most of the assessments have become faceless. Except for, of course, search and seizure and international taxation. Rest of the things, have become faceless. And what is the impact with search and seizure? So the impact is very significant. What used to take 100 officers to conclude an assessment, in-person physical appearance, that has substantially reduced to now. Now, what was done by 100 officers today is they are able to do it with 40 officers. So what happened to the rest of the 60? You will find what happens to rest of the 60 in one of the slides here. Look at the searches that have increased from 2021 to 22-23. From number of group searches 569, it has increased to 741. And the value of assets seized has increased from 880 crores to 1,700 crores. And this is one aspect. The second aspect also you have to understand, if you look at these recent newspaper clippings, IT department, cash seizes cash rates in Karnataka in case of realty developers, in case of a business group, very importantly in case of Lenovo, and if you look at subsequently Apple, what is important in all these cases is that gone are the days where you used to find searches in case of realtors and then manufacturers, contractors, hospitals, something like that, 4 or 5 sectors, and repeat those 6 sectors year after the year. Gone are those days. Today, department is even equipped with doing searches in the case of IT industry. It has its own complexities. IT infrastructure, it has its own complexities. Starting from how do you do, seizure of those assets, and in itself, it's a big complex situation. So today, department is capable of handling that. And that has been seen in the recent searches that has happened. Earlier, they used to shy away from these kind of doing searches in these kind of organization, but not anymore. Besides this, department is now coming up with sector-wise specialities. They want to empower the assessing officer in respect of a particular sector. They have identified few of the sectors, and they are empowering the assessing officer to get in-depth knowledge of those sectors. Like how, as a chartered accountants, we have business consultancy services, we get to understand the business before advising clients. So something like that, even in income tax department, there is a paradigm shift that is happening. And the quality of search, those of you who have experienced the quality of search few years back to the quality of search now, there is a huge difference. The search, once it used to happen with so much of a chaos happening all around assessees premises, right? And, shouting, screaming, no, those things, I think the recent one, what I have seen, People come with their laptops, they plug into your server, get all the details, ask relevant questions, and get out of the organization. There is a paradigm shift in the way and the quality of the searches that is being conducted in our country. So, but nevertheless, having said that, let us look into what are all the things that happens. Of course, you have so many other, newspaper clippings which I have captured, which distinctly covers the wide spectrum of industries the department is covering of late as far as search is concerned. In fact, one of the company, of course, that is in public domain, but nevertheless, let me not take the name of the company, though most of you will be able to identify that, where the sale of phone happens here in India, and the exchange of consideration is happening in India. But for every sale that is happening in India, the royalty per equipment was happening outside India between two different entities. Department was able to catch those information. In fact, the entire amount from India, another search, entire amount, I'm sure you are seeing so many people are becoming non-residents in India, non-residents of India. They are going to Dubai, settling down, surrendering, I don't know how many of them are surrendering Indian citizenship, which has become a part of so much of a news item. How many of them are doing it because they want to leave India for good, but there is definitely a possibility many of them have left India for the purpose of tax planning. Possibility. So having said that, in one of such cases where a person is there outside India and all the activities are being carried out outside India, and the business entity is here in India, absolutely there is no link between this entity and that entity whatsoever. The searches were conducted here in India, and nothing much was found here in India, hardly anything. But what was important is all the business that was being carried out outside India had all that profits. For example, if profit is 100 here, the profit was 500 out there. Now, what did Income Tax Department do? In fact, there was absolutely no jurisdiction outside India and a jurisdiction, within India. While Income Tax Department has all the powers to do search and seizure here in India, but they cannot go outside India, right? So they brought it very simply to one particular instance. In this particular case, they hit a jackpot when they tried to identify the instructions that were going outside, the investments or the business decisions that were happening outside India. All the business decisions were emanating from India, either through emails or through faxes or through some modes that was emanated from India. So therefore, they said that entity, whatever that entity outside India, the place of effective management is in India, so therefore they ought to have disclosed their income in India. So these are the kind of the shift that is happening in the Income Tax Department, the way they are approaching the international taxation, and how they are able to bring in entities which have been searched in India, but they have a connection there outside India. So with this background in our mind, with this kind of a paradigm shift that is happening, let us just get into, what is this search and seizure all about? In fact, why first of all is a search and seizure? Is it not required? Can we do without that? Yes, before 1950, there was no search and seizure. This thing in 1922 Act, there was no search and seizure provision at all. So it came after the independence. So very interestingly, if you look at, can we do without that? There were certain challenges what has prompted Income Tax Department to bring in this particular provisions into the Act, which has been tested even by the Supreme Court, and they have said, yes, this is right. There is no violative of privacy here. Because as a democratic country, the privacy is given a lot of importance to in this country. So if you have to invade a privacy, which is search and seizure is such thing which invades the privacy of a person, there are a lot of safeguards that are built into this particular procedure. So why this? Probably if you look into it, you can categorize the taxpayer broadly into 4 categories. One is compliant taxpayers. Even if you tell them that 80% is the tax rate, they'll simply pay 80%. With that 20%, they'll run their life. They're compliant type of assessees. You don't need a law for them at all. If you just tell them that it is 80%, they'll do that. There is another extreme set of taxpayers. They are called Iran taxpayers. Even if you say tax is only 5%, they'll find a way, how do I reduce out of 5% to 2%? They are too extreme. But the middle segment, if you take out these 2 extremes, there are 2 middle segment taxpayers are there. One is negligent taxpayers, one is unaware taxpayers. Some of the taxpayers don't even know that income tax exists. And some of them, yeah, exists, I know, but kal karenge, parso karenge, aisa kuch adjust karenge, all these things. For them, more than search, the news that comes in the paper has a kind of a, value which kind of a fear is implanted in their mind. Look, if it happens like this, there is a search, this may happen like that. So for them, that search, something comes up in the newspaper, those people who are unaware, try to understand if something is happening, what about my business? Awareness also gets created. Also those who are negligent, they become little proactive in complying with tax laws because they have seen what is happening around. And yet another aspect that one has to keep in mind in these cases is that gone are the days where you used to pay 30% of taxes and 30%, which comes to about 60% of penalty. 30% taxes and 30% penalty, which used to be 60%. Then came a block assessment where you had to pay 60%. Gone are those days, because those days client used to feel, in fact, I still remember one of my client had mentioned to me, when I was talking to him about, hey, if you do like this, if you window dress like this, there is a possibility that taxman will come knocking your door and you will find it. And very interestingly at that time, he was telling me that, so what? See, what is the tax officer is going to find out? One, he'll find out what I have invested in another property. Because undisclosed income, where will it go? Only 3 possibilities are there. There is no 4th possibility. First, in immovable properties. The second is plowing back into the business. And third is khaya piya mauj kiya. Right. And as far as immovable properties is concerned, it is anyways visible. And in that again, cash element may or may not be visible, that's a different matter, but immovable property is visible. What is plowed back into business by way of a stock, it is visible. What is not visible is what he has done, gone outside India, have spent lavishly here in India, everything, possibly not. So he says, so what? If he finds it, the 3rd category, he will never be able to find out what I have done. I have enjoyed that money, that 30-50% of money I have enjoyed, no problem. So balance 50%, as and when he comes, I am ready to pay 60%. Was what he was telling me long back. But will it hold good now? I'm afraid it is not. It won't hold good now as the situation stands. Because all of you are aware, I'm sure as a chartered accountant, when we file our clients' returns, we have something we provide for drawings for the clients. And we look at what is the lifestyle of the client. Depending upon that, 50,000 per month, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, depending upon that, we provide for those drawings. But believe me, friends, the kind of financial intelligence unit of income tax department has become so strong today. Even the drawings to your last rupee, they'll be able to identify. I'm not exaggerating when I say this, because most of us, especially here in India, here in Bangalore, we have the habit of leaving a digital footprint behind every transaction that we conduct. The morning we get up and come to office, we hire Ola or Uber. We come to office, we order lunch through Swiggy in the afternoon. And then evening we have to go to a movie, book my show, we book a movie ticket. Go to restaurant, we eat in the restaurant because some discounts are there in some app. We use that app to pay that discount. And then possibly want to go back home, hire a cab and go back home. In all these things, without your knowledge, you are leaving a digital footprint behind. And what is required is just your telephone number. Just your telephone number, all the details, entire year, whatever you have done. What is the sales that, what is the purchases that you have done through Amazon? What is that, how many movies you have watched? How many trips in Ola you have taken? To an extent, how much trip within India, air trips that you have made, it is available as we discussed today. You must know that the income tax department has become so shrewd that people, I mean, I'm sure assessees who want to go to US from Bangalore, because US you have to go to Dubai and take a change over, right? So from Bangalore to Dubai, they go in economy class. And in Dubai, they change over to first class and go around the world, come to Dubai, and from Dubai to Bangalore again, economy class. Department is trying to get these details as well. So therefore, you have gone to US and client is there, taxpayer is there in US. I think today department has which all places you have gone. New York, how many days you stay, where all you went in New York, Washington, and San Francisco. They have all the, how did they get it? Very easy. So you went abroad, taxpayer went abroad and clicked the selfies and posted it on Meta. As much as you want your friends to like it, there is one more person who likes it, the income tax department. So therefore, the kind of information they have is something phenomenal. And I'm sure you have gone to Chroma and you want to buy a mobile phone, and you bought a mobile phone, and while billing he asks, what is your phone number? Without your knowledge, you would have probably given a phone number. Only once your phone number is required, that's it. Second time onwards, they don't even need your phone number. And at the end of the year, they know that in not only you, in your family, how much whoever have purchased any of the, they'll be able to tell you how much purchases you have made, electronic purchases. In fact, some of the clients very ingenious methods they use. They have mechanism to transfer cash from here abroad. They transfer cash abroad and then they buy the expensive stuff out there. And in cash, they buy expensive stuff outside cash and want to come back to India. And in fact, very interestingly, this is one of the search outcome of a search. There was a refund of VAT from Dubai. One of the clients, refund from VAT, significant amount of VAT refund. What happened? The purchases he had made in Dubai, before exiting Dubai airport, there is a counter where you can claim a refund of VAT. They will not give you cash. They'll take your bank account and they credit it into your bank account. Is an evidence enough for them to find out what is the value of the asset that you have purchased in Dubai? So the kind of financial intelligence unit what I was talking to you is, it is the strength, that is what they say, right? Every data has a story to tell. And you need to torture the data well enough for it to confess to a story. So department has 360-degree view of each one of us. They, at appropriate time, they will get it what they need. I'm sure as it started sometime back, a few parameters they used to track it. Today it has gone up to more than 50 parameters they track you on. So therefore, we have to be extremely careful about what, as I said, the client said, you know, asset investment into asset, investment flowing back into business, khaya piya mauj kiya. No, that is not. That is also tracked now. So therefore, what is the way out? Mend your ways is what we have to tell clients. How to conduct business, mend your ways and conduct business. In fact, that besides that, you know, of course, technically, if you look at when search triggers, technically, if you were to look at it, where a summons is given and assessee doesn't respond to those summons, a 142(1) notice is given for producing information and books of accounts, he doesn't care to produce those things. That in itself gives enough reason to believe that he has undisclosed income. So therefore, that itself will give them authority to go to search. Very interestingly, they have given no summons, and the assessee may not, or you know, that is exactly what the law says. Assessee might not produce those books of accounts or might not respond to those summons. How is it? Are they astrologers? Income tax department, is it an astrologer saying that, okay, they have given summons, but they know that they will not produce. Therefore, I will go on a search. Yeah, possibility, because income tax department will have a information that, okay, this gentleman is maintaining 2 sets of books of accounts. Information is there with them. So obviously, if a notice is given to you, will you produce the other set of books of accounts? Obviously not. So therefore, they will get that, you know, right to initiate that search. They have that authority to initiate that search. And of course, the third thing is where they have in their possession and they have a reason to believe that assessee is in possession of those jewelry or investments which are unaccounted, then possibly they can go on search. Of course, this is what technically that has been referred under section 132. But then having said that, what triggers some of the income tax searches is there are some bogus billing that has happened in GST. That has an impact on income tax search. There is some initiative, I'm sure all of you know that there is a coordination committee meeting that happens with all the departments, and whatever is whatever information that they have, other department has, will be shared with income tax department as much as income tax department, the outcome of the share, you know, information they have with them. This is as far as India is concerned. And I'm sure all of you know that the exchange of information treaty has become very robust. And I'm sure you are watching this BEPS action plan 1, action plan 2, pillar 1 and pillar 2 developments. That in itself gives enormous amount of information to assessees. If you look at the Black Money Act, or for that matter, you know, similar thing, you know, F-bar in US, any US citizens, if they are here, information of you know, their bank accounts has to be produced. That is a mandatory thing for the banks. So same way as far as Indian citizens, you know, tax residents who have bank accounts outside India have to disclose those things here in India. Otherwise, forget about income tax consequences. There is a prosecution under Black Money Act. Right? So therefore, the information to income tax department triggers through credible information from other departments, not only in India, but also from abroad. And lavish spending on or disproportionate income disproportionate expenses which are not proportionate to the income that is disclosed, also a trigger for the search. And manipulation of books, records, you know, sometimes all of a sudden book building exercise happens, a huge amount of gifts, huge amount of loans. That is another interesting aspect which we have to understand, you know, between assessment proceedings, so to say, and the investigation. What happens, you know, in the, if you look at the kind of proceedings that we have, and the proceedings that we have for, yeah, let me search when it is. So why some of the things that we cannot do it under the assessment proceedings and only search is required? Because there is a limitation in the assessment proceedings. In the assessment proceedings, assessing officer can look into only those details produced by the assessee. He cannot go beyond that. So therefore, that in itself is a reason why they have to go for a search. For example, if you look at, there is a huge amount of loan, huge amount of capital that is increased. So if in the assessment proceedings, if you look at, they'll provide all the relevant information. If you want confirmation, they'll get confirmations. If you want the identity of the person, that has been given. Everything, the capacity is, established. All these things are given. But that is, it stops there for the assessing officer. If he has to really go beyond that, is where this investigation proceedings are required. So that could be one of the reasons which triggers this search proceedings. And sometimes this, some of the other persons being searched and the responses what they give has an implication on your taxpayer, your client. That also is a trigger for search being conducted in assessee's premises. These are some of the things that one has to keep in mind as far as search is concerned. And of course, these are kind of a sections which, technical aspects of it, I'll not get into it because I'll look into the, procedural aspect of it. So let's look into what happens typically on a day of search. See, every day morning, when you wake up, you can find only two people to knock your door. One, the doodwala, because paper wala and all, now they throw the paper, that's it, they won't knock. Doodwala will come early in the morning. If there is a second knock, you can be rest assured it is from the income tax department, in all probability. So early morning, if there is a knock, second knock, possibly, and the income tax department, very interestingly, before they come, there is a lot of work that they do. How it, as I said, the information, how it triggers, so much of information they gather, which we discussed just now. And just because they have that information, they will not strike. They have to make a reasonable belief. How they do their own, Reiki. They go to, in fact, in one of our clients' place, advocate and income tax department person came and he was in lungi and he had all his, typically he was looking at kind of some businessman and with pan and all those things, and he came and he was talking to him about, look, I have one check which is signed like this, blank check, and can we do something out of it? I'll give you 50% and all those things, natak. And so kind of a Reiki, what I'm trying to say. And they gather enough evidences on that Reiki and they come to a reasonable belief that, yeah, there is an undisclosed income in this particular, in this particular taxpayer. And then teams are formed. If it is a large organization, then multiple teams across countries, which you have seen in papers, large teams are being formed. That is why when you go to department, which used to happen earlier, when we go to department, you go to an officer and say, sir, can I come tomorrow? He says, no, not tomorrow. And go to another officer, sir, can I come tomorrow? No, not tomorrow. You are rest assured that there is something is happening here. There is a lot of movement happens all of a sudden from small towns. People, when they leave, 3-4 officers, you can be rest assured that something big is going to happen. Right? After doing Reiki, the department comes out with all these information. They create teams, and if somebody, and as instruction is sent to team. If those who have to do it in Bangalore, they say come tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. Those who have to go outside of Bangalore, they are given an instruction, you can come with 2-3 days of cloths. That's all information. They come with those clothes. They are given a sealed envelope. A sealed envelope is given which says that do not open till this time and this day. So somebody is going, they are not supposed to open that till that time and date. So early morning, let us say 7 o'clock, they have assembled here in income tax department and they have to strike someone here in Vasant Nagar. They say that, okay, 7:45, you come towards Institute ICAI building. And there they have to open, and they have to open in the presence of another 4 people. It is like how our CA exam paper happens, right? It goes into one of the bank locker, and chairman has to go there and get those things and see that it is not tampered with, and come open it in front of all other 3-4 people, something like that. It happens, they are supposed to open it, and all others are supposed to sign it saying that it is opened in our presence, because obviously this internal control is required, otherwise the minute you give, somebody may open it and see and spread the news, right? So therefore, till such time, and the time is also aligned it something like that. Suppose they have come in front of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. There could be the person where they are going to strike could be in 5 to 6 minutes of distance here. And then they go and strike. And there have been various stories, and department has also learnt its lesson over a period of time. I'm sure one of the very interesting things that happened long back. I mean, during our initial formative years, department with that ID and all those things, they went and they knocked the door of one of the prominent business. All these are forming part of public records. You can go and Google it, you will find it. They went, and that gentleman saw through a peephole in his house, that door. And he found that, yeah, somebody, as I said, no, second knock, the minute happens, you can, and he knew that, and he sees 3-4 of them were there. And whatever incriminating documents were there, that was all put in one bag. And the minute he opened, he had 4 bulldogs in his house. The minute door was opened, the dogs charged on them. When they charged on them, this person ran with that documents. So they have become wise after that, and so therefore they'll not come and do that. So they knock, they go, they'll not be visible. So obviously, even if you see no one is there, once or twice you knock, somebody will open it, right? The minute they open it, they say, we are in from income tax department, no movement. That's how they take over. I'm sorry. That's how they take over. Once the proceeding starts, they come in, they have an authority to, you have to cooperate with them, of course. Whatever questions they ask, you have to answer those questions. Whatever facilities they want for verification, you have to do that, provide those things, passwords, the keys. If you don't provide, then they have the authority even to break open the lock. Interestingly, how it happens is something like they come, they talk to the owner saying that, what's your name? That's how the statement recording starts. What's your name, what you do, and all those things. They take wife to another room and say that, what's your name? She says so and so. What do you do? I'm a housewife. And then she says, you are a director of this company. And wife says, what? Director? Which company? Am I director? They record it. In this, you get so much of a remuneration, because you would have put, the assessees would have put remuneration to wife. Why? Technically competent. So those things they say, remuneration, aapko itna remuneration mil raha hai, you get so much of a remuneration. Why? Wife says, what? This fellow doesn't give me my PIN money every month. Remuneration? No, not at all. No remuneration is given. That is recorded there. So these are the evidences which comes in very, becomes very challenging to later on to retract. So possibly it continues, and then sometimes it so happens that husband would have taken up property worth, let's say, 20 crores of property, and the registered value is only 10 crores. Sub-registered value is only 10 crores, but 20 crores is what he would have paid with cash and all. So obviously he would have told his wife, look, 20 crores. Wife is also very proud. My husband, very successful man, 20 crores he bought. And it won't stop there. Entire community it would have gone. Oh, this property was purchased for 20 crores. And one of them also would have passed on to income tax department this information, possible. And income tax department, now the statement is being recorded of the wife. Wife said remuneration to mil nahi raha hai, no remuneration. And then they ask, yeah, this property you purchased, yeah, that property we purchased it for 20 crores. How much? 20 crores. Yeah. This property is purchased on so and so date and 20 crores. Now, who did that? Taxpayer told wife, at least if full information is given, it's a different, but that pride, 20 crore, I have purchased this property. How it will come, haunting him back. And sometimes it so happens in one of a case that husband shouted his wife saying, what do you do with so much of 1 lakh every month I give you? What do you do with this money? Every month 1 lakh rupees, sir, that's a big amount. Now onwards, I just want to know, that wife is upset. He's asking, I'm doing everything only for the family. So she start writing every day. Paid so much to Dudwalas, paid so much to movies, so much to popcorn, so much to this. But if you look at the end of the year, only 40,000 per month is shown as drawings. But whereas wife's that diary says 1.5 lakh rupees per month. Are the reasons how they collect. So therefore, basically, if you look at the search and seizure, they try to gather this information, factual information, and see that what you are saying, does it match with the information that is available. This is exactly the kind of, they enter the premises, they start asking questions, and they demand the necessary, facility be provided to them. You can't say that, I cannot answer. In fact, it so happened. In fact, once or twice, sometimes some people want to show. In fact, this happened in case of one of the advocate, and he says, no, I will not answer. I don't know. Third time when he said, I don't know, he did not answer, notice was given. I mean, penalty, show cause notice was given saying, you are not answering this question. For every question, 10,000 rupees penalty. So if you think that we are smart, the department has all its ammunition to say that, to counter all those things, because they have also matured over so many years of doing their search operations, right? So these are some of the things that happens. So therefore, the best way is to see that how well you cooperate with the department to mitigate the damages that happen, right? And so it is in the premises, it is very important to see it is in the premises, the search warrant is for the premises and that person. So while in that premises, another person is there, possibly, ideally, the income tax department should not get into that. For example, this is what is premises, and here brother's premises is there. Also, he is sharing, but elder brothers, it is the search warrant is there, and younger brother has a part of the house as his office or something like that. The search is only in this particular for the elder brother, not to the younger brother. So something like that one has to keep in mind. Now, so having started this statement, I'm sorry, before statement, there is one more important aspect that comes into picture. So because it is an invasion of privacy, you have a right, SSC has a right to have 2 independent witnesses called panchas. So whoever of notable worthy individuals in that locality can be brought in as panchas, and the panchas are supposed to be there witnessing what happened during the course of search. And they are also important because at the time of Panchnama, what all items are seized and found and seized, the recording happens where panchas also have to sign saying that this has happened in their presence. So sometimes it so happens that we get to hear, no, there has been, the department was not very, they were very aggressive, they slapped, all these things we get to hear, right? Of course, if you apprehend that is something which is going to happen, you can always say that one, panchas will be there who are independent witnesses, but you still want to feel that, I want to have additional safety. Possibly you can have the video recorded. Entire thing, can be video recorded. That possibility is also there. So They enter, the panchas are there, and you can also search them before they enter, because they should not be planting something in your premises, right? You have a right to, but I don't know how many of them use this right, that's a different matter, but SSC has this right to check the people who come for a search and see that if they have any incriminating material which they are likely to implant in as a taxpayer's house. So then panchas are invited, and then statements are recorded, and it so happens that during the course of search, there are possibilities that some of the assets may have to be seized. Because let's say gold, jewelry, cash, which is not forming part of the books of accounts, not disclosed, they are supposed to be seized. And of course, the question of comes as Sridhan, you know, we have been doing it. It is a tradition in Hindu tradition to give Sridhan every month, and they have given provision for all those things. They say up to 500 kilograms, you know, of, you know, gold, 500 grams, I'm sorry, 500 grams of gold. And for, that is married woman, and unmarried it is 250, and men it is 100. Grams you can, I mean, they will not question, they will not even seize those things. So that answers most of your question of my Sridhan and all those things. So the rest of the things which is not disclosed, sometimes it so happens that you would have bought a jewelry, paid for it, accounted one, but then because the fashion changed, you got it converted into some other jewelry, right? That is very, very tricky, because the jewelry which you have acquired is a particular description given in that invoice, but what they find is not the one what is there. It is very different. Maybe the source is that, but since it is not, they have an assumption, which we will come to that. They can make a presumption, so therefore they say that this jewelry is not yours. It might be yours, but then because the shape and form has changed, so therefore this possibility is there. Second, sometimes some of your friends or relatives, for whatever reason, they would have given those assets for safe custody. So those assets found are also first assumed to be that belonging to the SSC. So it becomes later very challenging to, you know, demonstrate that it doesn't belong to SSC. So therefore, generally, you know, as I said, the SSC's premises, search warrant is in Mr. X, so their family, but then the jewelry belongs to SSC's brother's wife or something like that. How do we do it? Possibly whenever it is they're not belonging to SSC, possibly if it can be put in a different cover and with marked as with their name and kept in safe custody, at least when somebody opens it knows that this is, so that presumption cannot be made that it belongs to you as a taxpayer. So these are some of the precautions one has to take. And as a chartered accountant, what is that value we can bring in these situations? Definitely not you go to the search premises. That's the last thing as a chartered accountant you can do. If you think that as a chartered accountant, no, I have to be there with the SSC during the hour of crisis, no, I will be going there, I think you are going to create more problem to your client than helping him out. Because whatever statement that is recorded has a evidentiary value. So you first, second, you might not remember as much as they don't remember. You might not remember all the transactions of your SSCs. But as a witness, if you go there, another possibility you have to understand. Another possibility is that the minute you go, they can search you as well, because a person who is entering the premises also can be searched. You have to be careful about it. So your phone, and so therefore it is first of all not advisable to go and get into that premises in your own interest, and more importantly in the interest of the SSC. So first of all, department may not even allow that. Assuming they were to allow, we would definitely suggest not to do that, because finally when you know you are emotionally charged, SSC is, that is an environment, it is emotionally charged, SSC is emotionally charged, you go get into it emotionally charged. When emotionally charged environment, you can't take a good decisions. Intelligence does not work in an emotionally charged environment. So for the intelligent to work, that is when you can save your SSCs. If intelligent has to work, You have to away from that particular thing. So therefore, it is better not to get into this particular aspect of getting into such premises. So once, as I said, the search premises, all the search proceedings happen, and some of the places they seize those records. Some of the times they may not be able to seize the records because of the sheer volume. In one of a client place, it was a radioactive element which was there. What will they do? They can't even, they fear even to touch. So therefore, they call it as a deemed seizure. Some because of the volatility, because of the hazardous nature, because of the sheer size, volume of that particular asset that is there. So they simply will not get into seizing those things, because what will you do? Suppose you find he has, let's say, he has, exotic animals. Now, if you seize and take it to department, who will feed it? So these are practical problems. So they will not seize those things. They do a constructive seizure, saying that, look, without my permission, don't do. There is also where these things are not possible in case of hazardous. There could be possibilities. It is not a volume, because of the hazardous nature. Other than that, also they can do what is called as restraint order. So if it comes under this bucket, then they can go into constructive seizure. If it is not into that bucket, then they can do what is called as restraint order. What is restraint order? You went there and the premises was closed. He has multiple premises, that premises was closed. So therefore, it is not volume, it is not size, it is not hazardous and all. So therefore, only thing that department can do is the restraint order. They say that, put a tape and say that you cannot open this until we take whatever there inside, we get to know that. So therefore, they put a restraint order there. So one, we have to understand about the seizure. Second, constructive seizure. And the third one is restraint orders. Having done all these things, then the only objective, believe me, in the entire proceedings, they may say many things. They may say, if you don't do this, I'll get you arrested. They don't have, in Income Tax Act, they don't have a right, they don't have authority on this to get you arrested. Of course, they can bring a police force, that they have. They can bring all the police force for their safety and to ensure that it is smoothly conducted. So these are some of the things that one has to keep in mind while search proceedings happen. And of course, they can seize accounted and place mark of identification. If the books of accounts are there, because they total it and that page total, they put it in some green ink and sign it. So place of mark identification, they can make an inventory of cash and valuable found, and they can seize it, take help of police and other government officials, and put assets or record under prohibited law, which we just now discussed that particular reason. And of course, there are, as I said, because the search involves an invasion into the privacy of individuals, so therefore the threshold to invoke this particular power is very, very, strictly done, because it has to be authorized by DGIT or PDIT of highest level in the income tax department, right? And as I said, it has to be based on information which we have discussed, so I will not get into this this particular aspect. And of course, as far as search is concerned, they can enter the premises, search the premises they want to search anytime. Anytime, any premises. It could be night 12 o'clock, night 12 o'clock also it is possible. It is only during survey. Survey can happen only after sunrise or before sunset. They can enter the premises, or during which the business is operational. So some of the cases in casinos, if you look at, they open only in the night. So where's the question of sunrise, sunset? Their activity itself starts after sunset. So in such cases, the survey can happen after any time during which that business operations are open. But in case of such, no such conditions. They can get into the aircraft. Suppose if somebody has boarded the flight and there is a credible evidence that he's carrying, that even officers can get into it, which I'm sure there have been many, again, information, publicly available information. In fact, one information happened was that you can carry any amount of gold, jewelry, cash, anything you can carry in the aircraft. There is no prohibition at all. You can carry. You want to carry 50 lakhs, 1 crore, you carry. There is no prohibition in carrying. But then when you carry that, when they screen it and they know that it is 50 lakhs, they will not do anything. They will not talk to you. They will allow you to go. But then every airport has a air intelligence unit. And the information is passed on to that air intelligence unit. And that's when you get down at a place, then you will have a, somebody, inviting you for, exchange of thoughts. What happened? What is this? Where did you get this? All those things, right? So therefore, this, when one undergoes this entire process of search, the predominant underlying factor, if you look at this, is to collect the evidences for the department and to corroborate those evidences collected with the returns that has been filed by the SSC, if he has filed one. If he has not filed one, okay. Then, so again, as I said, when they are in search, they have certain presumptions to make that presumed that whatever is found during the search, the ownership is that of the occupant, and whatever is written, you may say that it is not my handwriting, but it is found in your premises, it is deemed to be in your handwriting. So all these assumptions they can make. As I said, it is a presumption. This is rebuttable, but again, in fact, interestingly, therefore, what sometimes, many a times I suggest client is, if there is a search, in fact, it works in a double-edged sword. But then the positive side of it, let me put it, because anyway, negative, everyone knows it. Suppose if the restraint order, which we were discussing about, I would encourage you tell clients to get that restraint order. Even if they are not saying anything, sir, there is something like this, please look into it. No, I don't have time. Oh, at least put restraint order on this. You do that. It is important. Because the conclusion of search that happens, from the beginning of the search, these are all the proceedings. See, on the date of the search, first 2 days, 3 days, you are emotionally charged. You can't really make out what statement you have given, what others have given, all these things you can't do it at day 1, 2, 3. And even after they go, you want to catch up with your sleep. So many things has happened. Maybe possibly after a week, some sense prevails, and then you need to really see what all happened. There is a possibility then, if the search is not concluded, there is a possibility for you to retract the statement. And to retract the statement while the search is on always has a credible evidentiary value. I'm not saying just like that retract, but then if you have really said something which is not to be said or which is incorrect, so then if you want to do it, you want to retract it, please do retract. But then the retraction has to happen when the proceedings are on. So the restraint order which is there is proceedings still on. So that is the other way of looking at it. So therefore, coming to retraction, since we are into it, and in fact this morning when myself and Prashant were discussing, he was telling, do you have a PPT? I said, I do have a PPT. And he said, I have stopped long time that PPT and all is what Prashant was mentioning. I said, no, I have PPT and I will run only through PPT. Now only I realized that I have not even moved out of this for many. So thanks, Prashant, for that insight. Possibly I can do that without PPT now. Coming back to the kind of the restraint order, what we were talking about, it acts, as I said, beneficial to client as well. One has to know that, how it can be beneficial to client. So, and very interestingly, when we are looking at this search related matters, I was, so I categorize when I look at personally, if you look at, when I look at it personally, I categorize, because all the searches has happened, now assessee is free, he is coming to you, and but then that restraint order is still there, right? That means it is in the middle of the proceedings, but a sense has prevailed into assessee and we can talk to all his employees. Then the first thing that one has to undertake is examine what all, who all have said, what all they have said, and what are all the things that they have seized from whatever discussion with client and all those things. Then make it as 3 categories. The first category is where assessee has found, department has found evidence of that undisclosed income. Clear-cut evidence of undisclosed income. The second is they can get into, with much more deeper investigation, they can get into the layer of that undisclosed income. And third, there is no evidence whatsoever. Make those into 3. So as far as the first one is concerned, where they found absolutely the evidence, forget it. Don't even contest it. Don't even challenge it. Because you are going to, see, at some point in time, you need to get their confidence for them to help you out. They, at least for them to look at your case with kind of, impartial way. Right? So therefore, those which you find that there is an evidence involved, don't even contest us those things, concede on those aspects. The second aspect is where there is, they get into more of, investigation, they finally will get into it. There is something you have to, professional judgment you have to use, because not only in investigation, subsequently this matter goes to the assessing officer, central circle, right? And at that particular point of day, there is a possibility this may open up. So therefore, you have to be careful whether this evidences will lead to that. And wherever there is no evidences at all, then you are the best judge to advise your client what to do in such cases. So this approach will bring in a sanity to the entire proceedings. And then there is a possibility for you to assess the situation and see what to disclose, what to offer as income, and if it is wrongly offered, then retract those things. All these things are possible. And I would urge the retraction, don't just take it lightly, the retraction, because you would have given a first a statement under oath. It has a evidentiary value. But if you are to retract it only under, if you are know for sure that you have all the evidences to show that this disclosure was not correct, only then I would advise you to go for a retraction. Otherwise, the entire proceedings may turn around. If you retract what is there and evidentiary value, evidences is there to say that that is an undisclosed income. But if you have retracted, there is a possibility of a perjury on assessee. The perjury proceedings may be initiated. So one has to be careful about this aspect of retraction. So having considered these aspects, we have spoken about this warrant of authorization and recording of statement, physical search. Yeah. In fact, very interestingly, the entire proceedings, once it is all completed, they prepare an appraisal report, and the appraisal report is nothing but how the entire search originated and how did they enter, what did they find during the course of search, what are the statement recorded, what is possible estimation of undisclosed income is what is that appraisal report is all about, which will be compiled by the investigation department, will be passed on to the central range. Earlier it used to go to assessing officers, but then now there is a central circle. It will go to the central circle. In central circle, not only the assessee, entire group of that assessee and their directors, close relatives, all their files are centralized in one place, and this appraisal report is sent to that central circle. So when they go to that central circle, the proceedings there for, let's say, under 148, earlier it was under 153A, and now it is under 148, the proceedings will continue. Of course, 3 years plus the year of search, let's say 4 years is what is the proceeding possible, unless department comes out with evidence to say that assessee has undisclosed income, of more than 50 lakh rupees, and it may extend to 10 years. If it is overseas bank accounts they find, then to the extent of 15 years. But then if something is in possession of the assessee not exceeding, let's say 50 lakh rupees, and possibly it's out of unaccounted income, if it is there beyond this 3 + 1 year, 4 years, even if it is on the table, nothing they can do about it. So it's that is what is this. So these are some of the things one has to be keeping in mind, so that the search proceedings can go on smoothly. And during the course of search, there is a when they find this search jewelry or the diamonds, the paintings, some of these valuable material they find, then it can be sent to valuation officer to get it valued within that 60 days, whatever that they get it valued, and that will be used in the appraisal report. And if it is not, then at least assessing officer will use it during the course of assessment, those evidences. But this valuation, again, today if you look at this scenario, how it has changed. Earlier it used to be only with jewelry and precious metal, and of course paintings. Now they have moved this aspect to analyzing even their financial state, analyzing the data. In fact, income tax department is hiring data analysts. So if they have found search, they search in a premises which is heavily data ridden, which is there in the cloud and all these things. So you can be rest assured they have outside agencies which can come and help the department to unlock those data, analyze that data, ask relevant questions arising out of that data. And if some of you think that, no, I think those datas are there, those secret datas are in this folder, and as soon as I get to know this, I will delete it, for absolutely whatever you delete can be retrieved. No, it is there in the cloud, that the minute it happens, I will retrieve whatever, even if it is in the cloud, even if it is raining on that day, it can be retrieved. So therefore, there is no possibility that if it is, because I am on record, so I cannot say beyond this what can be done, but if it is on a cloud, if it is recorded, if can be deleted, no, it cannot be deleted. So even if you think that it is, I am sure this e-waste agencies, they go to these premises, they collect e-waste, and in front of the assessees, they run a software which cleans their hard disk. And then they show that to assessee and say that, look, this is, nothing is there in this, now I take it as a e-waste, and they, even from such e-wastes, the data can be retrieved. I'm sure those who have been following this Riya Chowdhury's, that murder trail and all those things, everything was retrieved. Every WhatsApp message was retrieved in that particular case, right? So this is something we have to keep in mind, that the search that happens, the kind of processes, the kind of capabilities that department has, something one has to be careful about. And of course, this we have discussed about Panchanama. Panchanama is nothing but, as I said, Panchas. When they come, the independent witnesses are called Panchas, and the entire proceeding that happens is recorded in a particular document, which is 45D, it's 45D. Yeah, 45D, and that is the Panchanama. That entire proceeding is called Panchanama. And possibility sometimes, searches are held illegal, and there is a technical deficiency in Panchanama. All these possibilities are there. Even assuming that technical difficulty is there, assuming that the search is held illegal. So it doesn't really make any difference to department, because even the information that is collated out of illegal search, while search is illegal, but the information they collect out of search can be used in the regular assessment. So it doesn't really make any difference to the department whether the search is held illegal or not. So this is something one has to be aware of this. So coming to now, I think last 10 minutes, so let me, I just have to cover even survey, so let me be little fast on this. Say, you know, the disclosure part of it that comes. What is the significance of that disclosure? Let me say, as far as income tax search is concerned, the disclosure that you make is under the oath. So as I said, if you have to retract it, be careful about perjury. When it comes to survey, it is not under oath, definitely not under oath. But then department tries to take it under oath, it's a different matter. They try to take it under oath. You need not have to give it under oath. Because if it is not under oath, it doesn't have an evidentiary value. And the question tomorrow, what it is worth whatever it is, unless it is corroborated with evidences, the assessing officer cannot do anything out of that particular statement. Whereas in search, if you look at, there has to be a information in their possession and they have a reason to believe. Information in their possession and a reason to believe, and it has been approved by the higher authorities. Only then the search can happen. But in case of a survey, absolutely no question of information in possession and all those things. Only the approval is required, that's it. In case of survey. And in case of search, anytime they can enter into, in case of survey, they can enter into only the business premises. And in business premises, they enter only when it is open for operations. It is sometimes it so happens that assessee says, okay, business premises they have come, and where is this record, where is this cash and all? Assessee says, no, it is in my house. Then it get extended to house. It is not that department wants to go to your house, because of assessee's statements where they find some evidence to say that these items are there at house, then the survey gets extended to house. But survey gets extended to house, if they have to get into a house, that has to be between sunrise and sunset. After sunrise, before sunset. But once they get in, they can continue to stay there for 1 day, 2 days, whatever number of days that they have to, they can do that. So therefore, as far as significance of this disclosure is concerned, please bear in mind, it is very important that the disclosures what you make, whether in search or in survey, is of critical importance, because in survey, if they ask you to surrender some income, they have come to survey, they have not found anything, okay, you do one thing, you disclose about 5 crores, I'll surrender 5 crores, I'll go. You have to be careful if you surrender during the course of even survey if you surrender, there is a possibility that surrendered amount may be treated under, may be taxed under income from other sources. The challenge is it is being taxed under 115 BBE, which says that under income under 69, 69A, B, C, you know, all those things under 115 BBE, the tax rates are quite heavy there, right? You have 60% taxes plus on that, surcharge, 25% comes to 75%, cess and all another 78%. 78%, even if you disclose the amount surrendered during survey, you have disclosed it, it is 75%, 78%. If you have not disclosed, again on that penalty. This is as far as survey. As far as search is concerned, the same calculation, it can go up to close to 107% to 134%. Depending upon whether you have disclosed it or not disclosed during the course of search. So therefore, it is of critical importance, if at all you have to disclose it. And if you have to even disclose it, how do you do that? So this requires, of course, a bit of study during the course of that search, immediately after that, and then take a corrective action as far as post-search proceedings. I think this we have discussed this. What cannot be seized? I think what can be seized is unaccounted cash, books of accounts, computer hard disk, property documents. What cannot be seized is stock in trade cannot be seized, disclosed cash and jewelry. And another important aspect as a chartered accountant we can bring in is there are certain assets which are of generally any gold is of sentimental value for a woman in the house. It's a sentimental value. So the minute it is seized in excess of what is disclosed in the return, if it goes to the strong room, getting it back, you will get it back, but after the assessment proceedings, it will take years together to get it back. And especially women, senior ladies at home, they are sentimentally attached to their inherited ancestral jewelry. So the best way that you can, as a chartered accountant, we can help them is, immediately after the search, you can offer to pay same amount, whatever the value of that jewelry, get it valued, which they'll get it anyway valued, same amount can be replaced with a FD or a tax payment and then get it released so that at least sentimental value attached to that is there even in the house. The senior women in the house, they are at least happy that my jewelry, for them whether search is concluded, what is the present, they are not very keen on that. For them, somebody took the jewelry but then they gave it back. Is the satisfaction, that satisfaction at least you can bring in, and they'll bless you for that. That is invaluable. So restraint order, yeah, of course, right and duties, and of course this is kind of what you can do and what you cannot. Of course, we have done most of it. Only thing is, what you should not do is don't obstruct them when they are carrying out their duties. Don't say that I don't know for everything. You may say that you will get back, possible, but you have to cooperate with them. And of course, they should not be doing panicking at that time, call up chartered accountant, ask him to come. Those things and all is not a right thing for them. And as long as they are there, while they allow you to do your regular things, sleep, eat, they allow children to go to school after searching their belongings, all these things they'll do it. But then as long as they are there, ideally don't have any plans for yourself, be with them, conclude it, so that it is important that it gets smoothly concluded, because they have, as I said, huge tools. In one of the case, I'm sure again it happened in this particular jurisdiction, one of a steel manufacturer, they went into, there are some things happened, they had to come out, and you think that such was unsuccessful? No, that's success, huge success, because what they had, finally they didn't get anything, is that they got the bank statement. What did they do with the bank statement? Very simple. They took the bank statement, whatever electricity charges was there, they identified electricity charges, they had a industry report which said to produce 1 ton of steel, so much electricity gets consumed. So from the amount of electricity debited, they identified how much could have been produced. That they compared with the stock statement, and then they found the balance. So with only the bank statement, they can do so much of a damage. So you can understand. So therefore, it is better to cooperate in these kind of a proceedings, so that the impact need not have to go to this extent, thinking that no, I have been able to get over them. I have been able to drive them away because I did all these things. No, they have very many, very different ammunitions under their arm. Okay, so post research, as we have discussed this, most of the things. So therefore, let me get into survey. And yeah, when they come on a survey, the important thing that they do is they verify your cash, they verify your stock, and books of accounts. That's it. They cannot seize any of these things, and of course they can place a mark of identification on them. And statement under oath, we have discussed distraction of statement. Yes. So can survey be converted into search? Yes, very much, depending upon what are the evidences that are available during the course of search. As I said, they need only authorization. That's it. They need not have to have any reason to believe. But during the course of search, during the course of survey, they find that 50 lakhs is lying, and there is no evidence, and there is no proper explanation. Possibly, can they convert it into search? Very much, they can. And legality of found during illegal search, we have discussed that, right? Validity of dumb documents. Dumb documents is those which are just numbers are written, they don't know. As long as department also cannot corroborate with any of these things, then it has of no value at all. And ceremonial surveys where there is huge expenses have been incurred, and so therefore department wants to know what is the source of spending of those. Then after the conclusion of that ceremony, that wedding or whatever that ceremony is, they can go and make a necessary inquiry with the owner and conduct a survey. And in case of mass survey, it is something like, it happened quite some time back where, suppose let us say department doesn't understand a particular industry. Now if you look at some of the new age industries, it's very hard to identify where the income to them comes. Even when they talk to you as a consultant, you will be surprised with their business model. Where would they earn income? Because they come, they say, no, my business model is like this, I need so much of a loan. Right? You get a loan, but where is the income? You get a loan, you spend, so I mean, there will be an income, but it has become very complex. That's what I'm trying to say. So things like that, they go on a mass survey. They go to similar industry elsewhere. They try to understand how the business operates. And they ask relevant questions, get relevant details, and then they frame their mind and say that, yeah, this is how, and use it in this particular case. So something like that is in case of mass survey. Of course, in case of TDS surveys, it gets restricted only to, TDS transactions, not beyond that. And what are the key precautions that you have to take? Please ensure you reconcile your bank statement to cash book regularly, and if it is still in the habit of writing books, then do it through permanent ink, not with pencils. And if it is if you are using some software, please ensure. Now even Companies Act mandates that trail of audit trail has to be there of the items that is deleted or whatever. Please take care of that. So deleting is not a solution to any of these things now. So record all the transactions properly and complete all fields in cash book or in the software that you have diligently. Sometimes you keep only debit and credit entries. That narration is not given, which is quite challenging. Later you can't remember those things. So please complete all the fields there. And jewelry, please get it valued and show in your return item-wise jewelry. It is very important, item-wise jewelry. Even if it is transformed into something else, transformed description. More than happy to take. See, generally assessee, whoever in that area, locality, you can request them, your neighbors or somebody, you can always do that. It is not a choice, you can do that, but generally it so happens that some people may not come. So department has some bank officials, somebody they would have identified. They will bring them. Practically, what I'm saying. Actually speaking, yes, people from the nearby places, they can come, they can be a witness.
But if I insist that one of the witness be my choice,
They will generally oblige. They'll generally oblige. So, can 148? Reassessment. As I said, 148 reassessment has a threshold beyond which they cannot go. See, reassessment has happened and they found that there is a huge amount of cash plowed into the business. Now, the only way is then investigation. That is when the search happens. So, to make a search happen, they have to have a reason to believe with enough information. This is enough information, reason to believe something has gone wrong. They can initiate, they can make it as a search.
148 order can have a reason to believe. Can
Yeah,
serve as a
148
reason to-
proceedings can have a reason to believe. Yes, possible.
Whether search is a criminal proceedings or a civil proceedings?
It is a criminal proceedings.
Okay, so arrest can happen.
No, arrest cannot happen.
Okay, though it is criminal, arrest cannot
Arrest
happen.
cannot happen.
In the search warrant, the name of the assessee is mentioned and also the address is mentioned. So can it extend to other premises or can it extend to other assessees also?
See, always a warrant is that premises specific. It is always premises specific. So if it has to happen in more places, search warrant has to be issued separately for those.
If any income is added to normal income, what will happen when something is found in search? And if it is added to normal income and normal taxes are applied?
See, if it is regular business income, some technical mistakes, errors, so those things goes under business income.
So
That
then-
is not a problem. We are talking about those disclosures, those surrender of income, those things. Those things come under other sources, 115 BB gets triggered.
For example, if there is a shortage of stock, so he will say that I have offered so much of additional sales and this is added to regular income and given in regular return of income. So whether that
Ideally, as long as you show the sources, it should go under regular business income,
Yeah.
right? Generally, if it is a search and seizure, practically, they will take it under other sources and they'll invoke 115 BB. That is what they do. But you have a good chances in the higher forums.
this 50 lakhs income what you have told, 148, 3 plus years of search, then more than 50 lakhs it is 10 years, whether it is income or whether it is the tax amount.
It's immobile property that is.
No. What I'm asking is initiation of a reassessment proceedings under 148. It is the limitation period is 3 years. For normal, this normal is income or 50 lakhs is the tax amount.
50 lakhs is the income.
50 lakhs is the income.
Income, not the tax amount.
Okay, and this foreign overseas is also income.
Yeah. Overseas, even the bank statements
Information.
found. Even the bank statement found there.
With respect to overseas, it is the information. There is no
Information.
threshold.
Not the threshold.
Okay, and for 50 lakhs, it is the income component.
Those, see, up to this 3 years, it comes under, after that 10 years together, that 50 lakhs if they come, if it is accumulated 50 lakhs, then it is more than sufficient, aggregate. No.
No, for reassessment proceedings, this 50 lakhs is income. So it is the income of all the 4 years put together, or whether
No,
they
I'm
have to
talking
identify
about-
the
We are
particular.
talking about beyond those 4 years. Current year search, 3 years, beyond that. Only then they get, jurisdiction to open up to 10 years.
Okay. This one, virtual digital asset and search proceedings, how are they being conducted?
See, so far there isn't anything on that yet, on virtual digital assets. It's a recent origin.
Yeah,
right?
recent origin.
It's a
because
recent
it's
animal. Yeah.
politicians from this.
Yeah, Yeah, you're right. It is there.
Yeah.
It is there. Things are happening.
Yeah.
And it has not come to yet onto any of the records or any of the proceedings. It is not. Possibly proceedings might be happening. It is not in public record yet.
Okay.
They will have a search warrant. They will have a search warrant wherein it is given clearly who is authorized officers. Very good question. I'm sure you would have seen that movie. What is that movie? Sorry? Yeah, there they went that the jewelry, this thing, it's a real incident. That jewelry house itself, they looted, na? So that is correct. I mean, I agree with you that when a person comes, you see his ID card, you are not satisfied, call up the department, PRO, find out if this is what the same person. Thank you so much.
how the volume of search and seizure has increased in 3-4 years, and switch over from real estate organizations to IT and ITES organizations, sector-wise, etc. We learned that a paradigm shift in quality of searches from violent searches to silent searches, if I can say, as the IT officers are up to date and with the data and information of the SSE, including technology to be used, and officers are well prepared. With that note, so as professionals like us, should we not update ourselves with the procedural aspects, and thus our program coordinator kept income tax procedure aspect in first session to be learnt, and then the practical aspects by him after a tea break. A round of applause for a fantastic presentation and discussion on procedural aspects by VP Sachin Kumar sir. As a token of respect and gratitude, on behalf of members present here and all the managing committee members of Bangalore branch, we would like to hand over a gift voucher to the esteemed speaker, and can I request CA VM Tupat, Sikasa chairman, to come out to desk and then do the honors. Thank you so much. Now we shall break for tea, which is arranged at 4th floor, and reassemble sharply at 11:50.